Hello, this is Stephen Howe, and yes, we're back with another Green Hornet 66 episode review. Today, we'll be reviewing May the Best Man Lose. So without any further ado, let's hop straight into this review. In the city, there's a re-election happening for the new district attorney. Frank Scanlon is running again for re-election, and we're seeing the posters all over the city of him to be re-elected. Whilst this is happening, some guy, or mysterious guy, is in a car, clearly fiddling with it, almost trying to sabotage it. We then go to Frank Scanlon's campaign headquarters, where he is just stepping out whilst having a conversation of him being ready for a TV debate. Now the guy that's meddling with the car quickly gets away, and it's revealed to be Frank Scanlon's car. Just as Frank gets in the car and is about to start, he is then pulled away by his friend, telling that he has to quickly do something. He hesitates at first, but then agrees to, and he agrees to take Scanlon's place to go to some location. He starts the car, and a car bomb essentially, and it turns out the car was essentially been rigged into a car bomb, exploding, killing the innocent person that was clearly meant for Scanlon. Already in giving us a interesting start to the episode. We do the usual opening credits, and then we get back to the story. Later that night, the Green Hornet and Kato arrive around the Black Beauty, clearly trying to find the person responsible for the car bomb. They've also spread word in the criminal underworld that the Green Hornet wants to meet the boss of the person responsible for the car bomb. The Green Hornet then finds the supposed boss and has him come in the car, but the Green Hornet's clearly not convinced that this guy is really the boss. He tries to pretty much interrogate him to find out more about it, more about the bosses, but he clearly isn't giving up. Though he does let slip that he's clearly not really the guy running the show. He then drops him off and basically says like they'll contact him later. When he's dropped off, the guy managed to go to a telephone booth and phones up, well, surprisingly, the Daily Sentinel, which Casey then receives, takes a memo note and hands it to someone, but we don't see. But unbeknownst to the guy, he's been secretly surveillanced by the Green Hornet. Anyway, but back to the Daily Sentinel, where it's revealed that right now there is a TV debate between Frank Scanlon and his rival, Mr. Ryland, and the debate is mostly about like the Green Hornet, how Frank Scanlon has been in office for quite a while, but yet he's failed to capture the Green Hornet. Mike Axford then floats the rumor that maybe Mr. Ryland might have been responsible for the car bombing. Frank jumps to Mr. Ryland's defense and saying, even though Mr. Ryland wants to be district attorney, he wants to do it the right way. He won't stoop to low means like that. And it's interesting to know, really I get the sense of just how much of a friendship Mr. Riley and Frank Scanlon has. They both have a respect for each other, and again, may the best man win, but it will be won fairly. And then once the debate is finished, Mr. Riley's brother comes up and essentially thanks Scanlon for defending him, and he says, he's only speaking the truth. Riley would never do a thing like that, and you should be proud of doing all you can to manage the campaign to get his brother elected. And they get a somber moment as the guy that was killed in the car bomb, as Mr. Riley also liked him, and again, they both have a very compassing past. They then end with basically Frank Scanlon saying basically when they say like how the Green Hornet has put off a crime lately, it must be good in Frank Scanlon's favor, and Scanlon just says casually, well, if I knew where he is, I'd send him a postcard. And we really get to understand just the more political debate that's really going on in the city. Anyway, what's the Green Hornet doing? Well, he managed to track down the guy that he interrogated, tried to interrogate to really find out who the big boss was or who was responsible, back to a hideout, which happens to be an old warehouse. He and Kato make their way in and make do of the guards. Kato, again, Bruce Lee, karate style is absolutely phenomenal. I just want to point out something I've really begun to notice. Kato's fighting style is unique, while the Green Hornet was more fist brawls, which is fun, but I really wish the Green Hornet could have been at least more of a skill fighter, maybe in the same vein of Bruce Lee. Hell, even heard behind the scenes Bruce Lee wanted to train Van Williams to do that, and Van Williams was really willing to do it, but for some reason it didn't happen, mostly due to producers, not being open-minded. But anyway, back to the episode. With all the guys knocked out, they quickly, hide all the goons, and the Green Hornet waits for the boss to come. Just as the boss is coming, he's noticing that basically, that someone's clearly broken in, and he comes face to face with the Green Hornet. And the boss was Mr. Riley's brother, Warren Ryland. Now, at first we think, well, maybe this is where his brother's in on this. No, his brother's completely out of it. He doesn't even know he is too clean. It's clearly done to pretty much get rid of Frank Scanlon so his brother becomes district attorney, but also to prevent Frank Scanlon from investigating to find out that Rylan is really the guy running the construction racket. Okay, that's the bit that kind of loses me in the story. The racket bit came out of nowhere. It was not even hinted at, so that's the bit that kind of does just something I just need to point out a bit. But then the Green Hornet points out, because his brother's so honest, he wouldn't protect Warren on a murder charge. He would expose him and basically arrest him no matter what. Realizing they need a new plan, the Green Hornet and him come up with the plan of basically that their campaign was mostly about the fact that Frank Scanlon has not yet captured the Green Hornet, and what if the Green Hornet committed crimes up to election day? Which will be good. This will make Frank Scanlon look bad in the public's eye, and maybe want to have someone new take the reins to see, how he would do. We then cut to Britt Reed revealing this to Frank Scanlon. Frank Scanlon can't believe that Warren would be, is behind it, though they do explain it's only Warren. His brother is completely clean. Frank Scanlon, and just as this is happening, he tells and basically explains his plan to pretty much corner Warren. Yeah, he agreed to do this thing with Warren, but he knows that Warren's going to double-cross him. Frank Scanlon decides, well, why can't I just expose Warren? But they'll say that will be public slander, and that will help, the opposition gain votes. However, Frank Scanlon says, I don't care about the election, I care about doing my job. But Britt Reed says, if you lose the election, so does the Green Hornet, and so does the city. So they realize they have no choice but to make sure that Frank Scanlon may win the election, though honestly, and take down Warren and his criminal schemes once and for all. We then see Warren trying to pull a double cross, as he and the Green Hornet plan to rob a bank. Warren and one of his accomplices have a micro bomb planted in the bank set to go off at a certain time, knowing that the Green Hornet's going to be there. Later that night, the Green Hornet turns up to the bank, but so does Warren and his brother. It turns out Warren, convinced, says that the Green Hornet's going to be here, and if we capture him, this could help your election campaign. At first, his brother doesn't believe him, but he says, let's go along with it. Hear me out. Just as they go in, they capture the Green Hornet within the vault of the bank, which bars, and essentially, realizing that now his brother, is going to win district attorney now that he's captured the Green Hornet. Something he's done in literally only a day that Frank Scanlon couldn't do in God knows how many years. But just as they're about to leave, Green Hornet is subtly hinting at the part that Warren played in the whole thing. And the brother, being honest as he is, wants to know what this is all about. Well, Warren's getting scared, as the time is ticking and notices that the bomb is about set to go off. Eventually, Warren tries to make a run for it, knowing that the bomb's about to go off, but he's quickly cornered and apprehended by Cato, and it turns out the bomb was defused. Rylan then finds out what his brother's really been up to, and can't believe this. Just as Warren's men start coming in, knowing that something's wrong, the bomb hasn't gone off yet, come in, the Green Hornet quickly breaks free of the vault, and he and Kato make do of the guards. Just as Warren tries to make a run for it, his brother quickly apprehends him and tells he's gone far enough. With the goons knocked out, and Warren pretty much down for the count, Rylan picks up the phone and calls the police, and he sees the Green Hornet and Kato walk away. Probably has an insight to maybe these guys aren't so bad as the media make it out to be. We end the episode with Rylan, saying he'd be no longer running for district attorney, and endorses Frank Scanlon and steps down. Frank Scanlon's upset, of course. He said he's a good man, but hopefully he can still stay on as public service as he could do real good there. And Britt Reed definitely agrees, since with Warren now locked up, he won't be causing problems for his brother. Mike Axford then ends the episode with a joke saying how, Britt Reed should run for public office, as a real campaign would really, liven up the place. And everyone laughs as we head to the credits. I like how interesting fact, just as like a few episodes ago, we had really Mike Axford play more of a role in the story. Well, now this is more centered around to Frank Scanlon. It also gives us an insight to how valuable both Frank Scanlon is as a friend, because as soon as that incident happened of him almost getting killed, it shows how Frank Scanlon felt, because a friend got killed which really should have been him, but also how the Green Hornet and I'm sure Kato viewed having not just a contact with the police department dead, but a real friend in danger. They would stop at nothing to find the guy that did this. Casey doesn't do much in the story. In fact, very little, and there's very little there. So again, I like how this is more focused on Frank Scanlon of all people in regards to supporting characters. Warren Riley. Okay, the villain for this episode. I like now, I will be honest, I'm a mixed bag because I really see a good character here. He wants to help his brother get elected. I would leave out the bit of him having a connection to the rackets, because honestly, for me, that just came out of nowhere. And I would like it that he did it so he could gain, finally, gain his brother's acceptance. He could make it, even though Ryland's good and does love his brother, their relationship is mixed, to say the least, but there is some genuine love there. So he's doing these underhanded means to help his brother get elected so he can finally be accepted. It just feels like the rackets now is just getting stale and doesn't fit in the story. Like I said, I don't mind the character. Now, Warren is played by Lyndon Chillis, probably butchering that last name, but he's a generally alright and decent, and is trying to make, and it definitely has this sort of friendliness but sliminess. We managed to combine those two elements very well, so I don't really hate that, but it does feel like, I don't know, some things just, they're not quite clicking the notes, if that's a thing. I don't know. I don't mind the concept. I like what they've done. I just wish they could have left the racket bit out, that he's just trying to save his own neck. I really wish they could have left that bit out of this character. May the Best Man Lose is sort of mixed. And also mixed, it has a good concept. I like some of the story ideas. I really wish they could have focused more on that and less on the product that we got. It's not a lazy episode, which can be viewed as that, but I like the election bit. It doesn't do what, ironically, the Batman 66 show did an episode about, election and public office, but this time it makes sense in the Green Hornet's world, because A, he's trying to make sure that his best friend and a good person who knows how to, really knows what he's about to still remain in office, but it doesn't come to the point of him just being shallow and thinking about himself. He's thinking about the city, knowing that they need someone like Frank Scanlon in office. Even though the other guy would be good, I'm pretty sure it would be hard for him trying to convince them what he is doing for the best of the city. Even though I kind of got the opinion that if the Ryland character, not Warren, the Ryland ever came back, I could imagine him slowly developing a friendship and actually being on good working terms with the Green Hornet. Essentially, he would be kind of, I guess, Chief O'Hara, but confident if he did stay on. But that's just my theory. That's just my opinion. The Best Man Lose is at least worth checking out. And there we have it. That was Made the Best Man Lose. Join us next time to review another Green Hornet 66 episode. But until then, this has been the Steven Hour. And ladies and gentlemen, so long for now.